Attention, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the preface of episode 4, 24601, part 2. The following podcast, warning, 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 rant, rant, rant. The following podcast has neither rhyme nor reason. I hereby alert you to consider the consequences of the listening of the following podcast, because it does in fact have neither rhyme nor reason. That is all. Anyway, this is ChrisCast. My name's Chris Abraham, and I talk story la that, and would like to share with you part 2 of 24601, which I call 24601. My name is Jean Valjean. Anyway, there's all kinds of memories I have of growing up as a haole in Hawaii on Oahu. I remember being surrounded by local kids in the parking lot outside my apartment, and like standing down the kids. I was frickin' haole. I can't use the F word because I want to be clean, but I grew up thinking my name was effing Haole. Haole is a word that's supposed to mean unwelcome visitor, but my buddy Mark was recently in Polynesia and found out that it had something to do with being from outside of Hawaii, being from Polynesia, anyway. I just knew it as white kids were called haole, and that there weren't that many white kids, and most of the white kids in Hawaii were from the military, so everybody always asked me if my parents were in the service. My dad was a Marine, but he wasn't a Marine when we moved there. We moved there because he made some bad business choices in Manhattan and gave my mom, in recoup, a false choice between moving to Karachi, Venezuela, or moving to, is it Karachi? No. Resort area, Venezuela. Karachi. Karachi is not. Karachi is, I think it's in Africa, right? Or Middle East. Karachi is in Pakistan. I knew that. I didn't know that Karachi was a seaside town, though. That's something I just learned. I just learned that Karachi is right on the Arabian Sea. I never think of Pakistan as being... I think of Pakistan as being landlocked. Afghanistan is landlocked. I just learned something right in front of all y'all. Karachi is a port town and is not the place that my Caracas is where my dad asked my mom to move if she didn't want to live in Hawaii. So we moved there. I was a freaking haole. Luckily, I could tan. Could you imagine if we moved to Hawaii and I couldn't tan? So when I was a kid, though, I had blonde hair. Brown eyes, blonde hair, but now now I'm gray. So that doesn't matter. So anyway, being Haole was a huge thing growing up. But I find out every year my best friend Mark reminds me in how many ways I think I'm pretty much a 5'4" Japanese boy. Even though I'm 6'3" and currently over 300 pounds, mostly I was 180 pounds, but 6'3" and 180 pounds is not 5'4" and 130 pounds. And in many cases, it was like an elephant in a horse stable. I was constantly knocking people over, and even when I was sort of jokingly roughhousing, I was knocking people across the room. Didn't even help me in wrestling, though, because I'm too tall, and all the 200-pound boys were 5'4" and 200 pounds, and I'm 6'3" and 200 pounds, an awful lever. But anyway, I don't know, growing up in Hawaii was pretty interesting. Like I said, there's this thing called Kill Haole Day, and I never figured out if it was actually a date, so let me check with Google. What day is Kill Haole Day? Kill Haole Day has a Wikipedia thing. The term Kill Haole Day is a term for bullying incidents that occurred in some Hawaiian schools when non-white students would harass and attack white students. The incidents saw the height in the late 70s. So I moved to Hawaii in 1976 and was there till 1988. In his 2009 book, lawyer and former Hawaii Governor Ben Kaitana wrote that Kill Haole Day began as a news story headline about an incident between Haole and local students. After that, whenever there was a fight or an incident between Haole and non-Haole students, the news media and newspaper editorial boards repeatedly reprised Kill Haole Day in their news stories. So, as I suspected, there is no Kill Haole Day. That's any particular date. Couldn't be that well hidden. I think it seems to be just sort of a threat that strikes fear in you, because as an only child, a lot of local kids that I loved and adored had like the whole joke about in Hawaii ne, like people who are Japanese, Chinese, Filipinos, Hawaiian, Tongas, Tahitians, and so forth have freaking huge, like close families. And so if you get into a beef with like one kid, you presumably get into a fight with all the kids. So the extended family. So I learned this fighting technique, which is put them down hard, quick, and then scare the bejesus out of the entire extended family and be called freaking crazy. Unfortunately, that's not a very sporting way of fisticuffs. The destroy your opponent quickly and without grace or without what is the term that you show? Without mercy. Welcome to ChrisCast. This is episode 4. I will call it 24601 Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. This has to do with the time of my life that's around like 5th grade. I'm living in Salt Lake. My parents move us to downtown off Lusitana Street, right near Punch Bowl. Gotta take the bus from the library to Ala Moana bus depot, then to Salt Lake, which is surprisingly closer. It's amazing during Hanabata time how big distances are. Swear it felt like it was forever, but I guess it really didn't take hours. Like, it's not like it's Hawaii, right? Hawaii's pretty small, so yeah, show extreme damage to someone without mercy in order to freak them, all their friends out, and everybody else out from ever engaging with you in fisticuffs is just not a neighborly way of engaging in horseplay. But I guess as an only child who moved to Hawaii and kind of felt like he was a fish out of water, that was the way I dealt with it. So, for example, that standoff in the parking lot, I was ready to go freaking like wilding, like crazy. But most of the time, going to Aliamanu Elementary School, I was, any of the 7th and 8th graders who wanted to beat me up or harass me or bully me, I would just run like Forrest Gump. Beat up a white kid day. Cleveland, Ohio. Anyway, I will stop looking at Wikipedia. So, for my 6th grade year, I call it my senior year of elementary school. My parents moved downtown by the public library on Lusitana Street on this condo building, the first apartment building I lived in since New York. Very, very nice and new compared to the garden apartments that were in Salt Lake. And needed to take the bus, which I find out now is no big deal because it was close, a lot closer than I thought. Could have walked it. It would have taken me an hour, but I could have walked to school. Jeez. Anyway, when I realized I certainly didn't want to go to Aliamanu Intermediate School because hormones kick in right after 12, and then I saw that downtown where I would have to go to school because of local because of proximity, rules of where you can go to school. I would have had to go to Central Intermediate School and then Central High School, and I heard like the scariest rumors from those places, and I'm like, hell no. So between 6th grade and 7th grade, I was able to convince my parents to send me to St. Louis School, and St. Louis School was awesome. I took the bus from, again, the library, Central Library. I transferred at Ala Moana, I believe, again, and then ended up going up to Kalaipuhaku and Waialae Avenue, is that right? And going to school there, until my mom and dad got separated. And then my mom rented a house that was in Kaimuki, which was really close to St. Louis. And I still took the bus until I was 16, and my parents bought me a VW Rabbit in putty-colored 4 or 5 speed. Anyway, but I loved it. It was an all-boys Catholic school. At that point, it was 7th through 12th grade. Intermediate, everybody wore aloha shirts and dress pants and dress shoes. The intermediate school kids wore different colored shirts than the high school kids. The high school kids in my day wore plain linen or cotton button-down or short-sleeve shirts, and the intermediate school kids wore these shirts that looked like they were designed out of blueprints, but like blueprints of sketches of the campus. Like there's pictures of St. Louis School that were printed on the shirt. That was so I guess teachers and administrators could tell the difference between the little kids and the older kids. Now, I believe that St. Louis School is K through 12. So I know why they did that, because St. Louis School, K through 12, St. Louis School has the best football team that Oahu has ever seen. I think all the Hawaiian Islands has ever seen. We're even better than the public schools with all the Samoan, Tongan, and Tahitian kids. And I think we prospect from like Hanabata days. Like we prospect all the way to Pop Warner football to make sure that we got the best kids. And we feed them to the NFL. Like these are generally not huge monster like the Rock type Tongan Samoans and Hawaiians. These are like, Japanese, Chinese, Filipino kids too, and believe it or not, Portuguese kids are officially local kids too, and we'll go into the reason for that. It has mostly to do with shipping lanes and shipping from long time ago. The ships that used to go from Europe and America and so forth to Hawaii before like sailing ships from hundreds of years ago. When they came to Hawaii, they were captained by British people. Or captained by American people, but the crew were generally Portuguese people. And as a result, the workers kind of bonded with the people of Hawaii who were working in the pineapple and sugarcane fields. And that's how the ukulele came. The ukulele is a kind of derivative of a Portuguese 4-string guitar. Lots and lots of stuff like that. I haven't even talked to you about animism, and there's the thing, I should be swinging a kettlebell, and all that other stuff. But I think we'll just limit it to what I've said so far. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason, but I just felt like making an episode. Maybe this is going to be 3 parts of 24601. Episode 2, Electric Boogaloo. Pretty much a rant. Pretty much talking about my growing up. Haven't hit really intermediate school or high school yet. I talked about an in-between place. But I'm happy to be here. Some of these podcasts will be awesome. Others will be for you know what I mean. But they're all part of me. My name is Chris Abraham. I'm the podcaster behind ChrisCast. You can reach me at chris@garriscorp.com or chris@abraham.su or cabraham@gmail.com or cja@well.com. You can learn more about me at chrisabraham.com. You can learn about my business at gerr.is. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at Chris Abraham, just about everywhere. Connect with me. I love to be connected with. DM me. You can text me at +1 202 352 5051. But calling isn't worth it because I only pick up if I know you or we have something scheduled. So much good stuff to talk about into the future. This one sucks, but I promise you they'll get better than this. I will talk to you soon. Beep, 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 beep. And mahalo, aloha, mahalo nui loa. And I will talk to you soon. Ciao.